Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that'll have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. The New Mutants, number 16 from 1984. I want to just note real quick the corner box here that is done by Art Adams. So, Art Adams during this time, I think he was doing the Long Shot Limited series before he goes in to do the New Mutants special and the X-Men Annual 9. So, all right. So, this is happening while the X-Men are away in Battle World on the Secret Wars. And this is the New Mutants fighting the Hellions for the first time. The Hellions would be the Hellfire's Club's version of the New Mutants here. So Tom Mandrake is the cover artist here. I'm not quite familiar with all the with all the Hellions, but they'll be introduced on the inside. I have a couple of playlists. I have a New Mutants playlist that I've covered New Mutants from issue number 1 to current. I have an X-Men playlist where I've covered everything from Giant Size X-Men number 1 all the way to current. The early issues are all classic X-Men, so it's got all the expositions and all the cool stuff in there. I also have an X-Universe playlist, and that X Universe playlist includes everything through this Chris Claremont era. So it's got the X-Men, the New Mutants, and the Wolverine limited series, and the Marvel fanfares, and all that kind of stuff. So I got a lot of playlists, so feel free to check them out if you so would like. All right. Oh, I also have a playlist for Secret Wars. I've got 6 issues in there so far. I will be, I get one in about every 3 weeks. So, feel free to check out what's been happening in Battle World. All right. So, Chris Claremont, writer, Sal Buscema, penciler, Tom Mandrake with Kim DeMulder, inkers, Tom Orzechowski, the ever loyal letterer. And here we have Ann Nocenti and Louise Jones. So Louise Jones ends up getting married to Walter Simonson and becomes a writer. Ann Nocenti will be picking up the editorial reins from Louise Jones. And Jim Shooter is still the editor-in-chief for a couple more years. So, all right, away game. Here we have the White Queen of the Hellfire Club. We have Kitty Pryde here. And so the White Queen says, "Welcome, dear children, to my parlor. I am the White Queen. From this moment, your lives belong to the Hellfire Club." And this, the White Queen and Kitty are holograms. But here come the Hellfire Club to get the New Mutants. So, and so this is Ileana, Colossus' sister. And she thinks here, "I brought the New Mutants here to rescue Kitty Pryde and her friend Doug Ramsey, but instead I've led them into a trap. How could I have been so stupid?" she thinks. And so exposition tells us that she was about to teleport everyone away, but Cannonball gives a cue to Magma here, and she uses her powers here, creating heat. I like this composition here. It's essentially drawn in color. So, and because she's able to control sort of the earth, she's causing an earthquake here and knocks out the lights, but there's some backups here. I love the use of screen tones, but when they turn on the lights, the New Mutants are gone. So I like this part here. The queen ain't gonna like this Gil. And he goes, "What am I gonna do? Art, lie?" She's a mind reader. She probably already knows. And when she turns on, White Queen says, "Quite so, Gilbert." And he says, "We'll institute an immediate phase one search." And she says, "No, return to headquarters. I will, oopsie, I'll deal with the situation myself." And the White Queen continues here. Fascinating. The group's gained some formidable new members since your mentor, Charles Xavier, first gathered them. Miss Pride, stop struggling. Um, and Kitty says, the White Queen says, "The psychic inhibitors I've placed in your brain not only deny you the use of your phasing ability, but most effectively paralyze you as well. No matter how hard you try, you cannot move until I let you." And Kitty says, "What are you going to do with me?" And the White Queen says, "You'll soon see, but I guarantee they won't escape. And once we've gotten to know each other better, they won't want to." And she says, "You're gonna brainwash them like you're trying to do me." "Wrong, dear heart. I've succeeded with you." So, and you can see her eyes kind of with the same color as the Hellions' uniform. So I also like this the White Queen here. This is pretty cool here. All the shadows there. So. And so the White Queen continues. "You see, Catherine, the goal of the Hellfire Club's inner circle is power. Sebastian Shaw and I wish to rule the world. Mutants are a means to an end," she says. And Kitty goes, "Whether we like it or not." And as the White Queen pours herself some wine, she says, "There are too many super beings, mutants and otherwise. People have begun to realize their value. The person, group, corporation, country that possesses them has incalculable advantage over those that don't. We used to be hated, now we are desired, and for the same reasons, because we are different from humanity, we have abilities humans do not." So, as she smells her wine here. And so, real quick, and feel free to put it in the comments if you'd like. What between Sal Buscema and John Buscema, who do you like? They're so different. Both of them are. I believe, in my humble opinion, that John Buscema is the better artist. Some people do like Sal. Sal's been around much longer. And John Buscema passed away quite a few years ago. And Sal Buscema is still kicking as of this recording. So Sal Buscema definitely has the longer reign. But goodness gracious, I think John Buscema is quite remarkable himself. So, and I prefer John to Sal, but Sal is quite serviceable. So, all right, we continue here. The White Queen says, "They still fear us. That will never change. But now they wish to use us, and they'll do whatever they must to persuade us to obey." And Kitty says, "Like threatening my parents." And the White Queen says, "Get used to it, child. I won't be the last." And that is true. Power begets power. So the White Queen says, "You must decide whether you wish to be ruler or slave." And Kitty says, "All I want is to be left alone, to live my life in peace. Is that too much to ask?" She says. "You lost that option," says the White Queen, "the moment you were born. If you wish true freedom, Catherine, end your life. The grave is a mutant's only lasting sanctuary. If you will not join the Hellfire Club willingly, you will be forced. The choice, as always, is yours," she says. Let's hope your compeers profit from your example. Compeers instead of your companions. So, all right. So, Wolfsbane looks so weird in this kind of form here, but Wolfsbane's trying to locate the scent And she says here, I cannot send anyone, Danny. The coast is clear. And Danny Moonstar, she's the leader of the New Mutants, says, "Great, Rain. Keep watch. Let me know if we get company." And Bobby, there's a coloring mistake because they drew him Caucasian here. Where do we go from here? We can't stay in this storeroom forever, he says. And she says, I don't know, Berto. Once they finish repairing the damage caused by the earthquake. Nice work, Amy. Their sensors will probably spot us right off. And Cannonball says, not if we KO the main generator first. And so Danny says, and what then, Sam? In the confusion, we slip in, grab Kitty and Doug, and then run for home. That's got possibilities. It might work. And Cannonball says, the only problem is the White Queen. It's pretty hard to hide from much less outwit a telepath. And Bobby says, if she's so hot, how come we're still on the loose? And then Ileana says, there's a world of difference between knowing our plans, Sam, and being able to stop them. If we separate, she'll have to split her forces too. Moreover, Professor Xavier is the strongest psi on Earth. And she says, if he can't read my thoughts, neither can she. She continues. And Bobby says, he taught us to shield ourselves from psi scans. That should help. And Sam says, I guess so, Bobby. I hope so. And Rain says, hush, everyone, footsteps. And, of course, we got these two patrols. They're using a very different blue than before for this palette here. A much lighter blue. And so, whispering here, it isn't a search party, only a couple of guards. Grab them. And so they do. And the two ladies says, get stuffed, punk. We won't talk. And you can't make us. And Danny goes, wanna bet? And so she uses her powers to create not holograms, but like psychic illusions. And so of what they're afraid of. And she sees here the White Queen. And Bobby says, if you like ladies, we can come up with something worse. And she goes, what do you want to know? You kids may call yourselves heroes, but you're as cruel as the White Queen. And so, you can see here, Danny's kind of, taken aback, and she goes, you guys question them. I need a moment to myself. And of course, she agrees with them. And one of the things is that she thinks here, back home, she couldn't help herself, but now she's trained. So, and she thinks less of her. But Ileana puts on the uniforms and asks Danny if they don't mind being partners, because they're the only two that kind of fit into the uniforms. They're women uniforms. So, all right. And she says, if you want to talk later about what's troubling you. And Danny says, I can handle it. All right, Ileana, thanks. And so she's thinking back to an event in New Mutants 4, which I've said I've covered. I have the a playlist. So, and out goes Danny. Danny and Ileana, and they're taking Sunspot and Wolfsbane with them, and Magma and Cannonball are staying with the ladies who are now wearing the New Mutants uniform. And Cannonball thinks about how hard it is for Danny continuing to use her power, and then wishes them luck. So now Cannonball says, I gagged. This is means I. This because she's Chris Claremont is using like Kentucky type dialect, or what like they think, he would think is how they would speak. So, and so he's saying, I gag the ladies. Only their thoughts will give us away. And Magma says, then I'll blaze our pathway out of here, Sam. And so She creates that and goes through. And she thinks how impressive it's going to be once she learns to use her full powers. Um, and so he's going down here, and it's already cool to the touch. So here's the generator room here underneath the academy here, and out comes magma and melting the generator. And this dude is um, these guys are running for cover here, and she's destroying everything. You can see now the mansion's gone dark. So, all right. And so Kitty goes, "Score one for the kids. Way to go." And the White Queen says, "They're resourceful, but so am I," she says. So Kitty says, you just can't you just can't admit you're being beaten by a gang of children." And the White Queen replies, "Dear heart, the battle has barely begun," as she lights a candle. Anything can happen. So here comes some of the students coming out, wondering about the blackout here. Um, and I think these are not police officers. I think these could be security telling everyone to stay calm. So, but they tell everybody to go inside before they catch a cold here. And then they wonder about their costume. It just says, "Hey, they're designer ski suits." So, to look for Doug's room. And so, here a character by the name of Jetstream says that he's on tactical and that he sees something. He's shifting to computer scan and is able to identify Sam, Guthrie, Cannonball, but is not able to identify them. And that they're entering Creighton Hall and is going after them. So, and now you can see Ileana and Danny. Don't know which one's which at this moment, but okay, this one is Danny here. All right, so Danny says, "Kitty could be anywhere." Ileana, look. Sorry, where do we begin to look? And Ileana says, "Our best bets are the administration building or the White Queen's residence." Suddenly, the lights come on, and the two of them are like, "Hey." And this guard says, "Sorry, ladies, didn't mean to startle you. Report to Central Operations for damage control assignments." So then they exhale. "I forgot we were wearing Hellfire uniforms. My heart nearly stopped when that creep showed up." And Ileana says, "Not to worry. If worse comes to worse, my teleport circles will yank us away." And Danny says, "Ileana, if you can do that, why are we sneaking around? Wouldn't it be a lot easier to teleport?" And she says, "Maybe, but not safer." And she says, "How come?" "Your power has its drawbacks, Danny. So do mine. I'll use it as a last resort, but not before." So Danny says, "If you say so, but it's your power, but." And then she goes, "Listen," as she kind of whispers. And so then they start whispering here. "What is it? I could have sworn I heard something. I wish Rain was with us. We could use her extra sharp wolf senses, not to mention her teeth." And so which way? And so they see it. There's a shadow following them here. So is this Wolfsbane? Well, if you saw the cover, you already know that it's not. Because, well, when we turn the page, Wolfsbane. Which, again, this is just kind of... The way they draw a werewolf, or Buscema draws a werewolf, is kind of funny here. So we see Sunspot with a Wolfsbane here. And Rain says, "I'm sorry, Berto. My senses are not as keen in my transitional form as when I'm wholly a wolf." And he says, "Well, but then you can't talk to me." So she says, "Kitty's scent is fairly strong. She came this way not long ago." And so he says, "Anyone on the other side of the door?" And she says, "I cannot tell." "Better leave this to me then." So he goes through, opens the door, well, rips the door open, and he's hit here. And then, boom, he is knocked out. And so this gentleman says, some test the queen gave us. I get to punch out a kid less than half my size. Big a deal. So, and so this is Thunderbird's brother, by the way. I forgot to mention it right here. This is his brother, and he is part of X Force, I believe. And so Rain, of course, goes to attack here, and she grabs him, and he's like, oh, who had a dog? Of course, it's Rain here, and he's taken aback by it, so she knocks him down here. And then this lady here, she throws this this thing in here, and I haven't read this in forever, so I apologize. So, black light. Well, there's no such thing as black light. Um, those shelves, and then they fall on her. And she says, "My wheel of fortune can give a person good or bad luck. Guess which one you got." So, her. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped this part. This is Roulette, is her name. So, she's got luck power similar to Longshot. So, and so Roulette says, "What I tell you, Thunderbird, you gotta watch us little girls. We'll clean your clock every time." So, spare me your sarcasm, Jenny, he says, as she helps him up. And so now comes Sunspot here. Um, and he is not happy that he hit Rain. So, Roulette, we're supposed to be a team, my foot. And so you can see here, he is about to fall. And so Sunspot lifts this away from Rain here to make sure she's okay here. And then she uses the bad luck on him. And he screams out in pain. And she's like, "What'd you do to him?" And she goes, "Give him some bad luck. That's a real heavy piece of furniture, T-Bird. Wouldn't surprise me a bit if the boy pulled a muscle or pinched a nerve." And so, and Thunderbird doesn't quite like playing with the feelings or would like that with other people. And of course, she doesn't seem to mind here. So, and so suddenly here at that moment, it says Danny is screaming out in pain. And Eliana asks her, "What's the matter?" She says, "Rain, something hit her. It's crushing her. Eliana, through our special rapport, I can feel her pain. I can't shut it out." Eliana says, "Get a hold of yourself. Your screams will bring the guards." And she's like, "It hurts." And so from behind comes the other wolf person here. Cat's Eye. There we go. And so this person says, "Splendid, Cat's Eye. May the goddess grant the devil," it said the card here, "that tarot does as well as her foe." And so she brings a tarot card to laugh, and so brings in a devil. So Cannonball and Magma are coming through here. And Cannonball says, "So far so good, Mara." And she says, "Sam, please call me either by my full name or the diminutive Eliana used earlier. Mara is too familiar. It's a name for lovers." And he's like, "No fooling. Sorry, I didn't know." And he thinks here, "I guess I just blew any chance I ever had. She must think I'm a five kinds of jerk." So, and so here, I believe this is Empath. Oh my gosh, Chris Claremont, I think, did everything she could to create these teams equally here. So, Manuel Alfonso Rodrigo de la Rocha. To reach Douglas Ramsey, you must first get past me. And you don't want to do that, do you? I wouldn't like it. Surely you don't want to upset a friend, someone you love. and so he uses his powers here. And here comes oh my goodness, Douglas Ramsey, who will be known as Cypher, and he goes, Sam, Amara, what are you guys doing in Snow Valley? And he's like, Doug. And you can see Cannonball's very angry. Thanks, pal. You couldn't have timed your entrance better. What that creep was doing to us. And so he goes and punches Empath. And he's gonna continue to hit him, but Amara says, Sam, stop it. He's down. He's beaten. So here comes Jetstream here. And he says, defeating one Hellion is far cry for beating us all. And so he comes through. So Jetstream is the equal to Cannonball. And you can see they go out through that door. And the White Queen here, she sighs. I hope my proteges would deal with the New Mutants without attracting undue attention. If Jetstream keeps this up, he may wreck the school. Past time, I think, to take matters into my own hands. And so Jetstream says, if the dormitory's wall didn't smash the fight out of you, American, I'll wager this oak should do the trick. And Sam thinks here, ain't been hit so hard since varsity football. Hard to concentrate. Where am I? Where am I? What's going on? And he realizes the tree is coming, so he then uses his power. And Jetstream hits it, and Sam gets out of the way. Um, but here you see that Magma is grabbed by Empath here. And Empath goes, the Doug dared lay his grubby peasant hands on a De La Rocha. He will pay dearly for that insult, and who better to exact my revenge than his pretty companion? And it says here, in a twinkling, Empath transforms Amara's affection for Sam to deepest hatred that will only be, that's a big word, let's just say satisfied by his death. And so he's hit in the lava bolt, but of course he is immune while he's using his power, and he realizes Empath is controlling her. And here comes Jetstream right behind him. But he ends up being the one that gets him hit. He's hit by mistakes. And he goes, well, those are the breaks. And he realizes he can't let him die because he's one of the good guys. So I want to comment here on the dry brush being used. Pretty cool. So he goes and grabs him, but he's hit as he's trying to catch. And so when they fall here, and now she sort of, Empath kind of quits paying attention, so she kind of lets her go, but Sam is okay, and you can see Sam hits him. I like this panel as he kind of flies through here. And so he's out again. And here comes Doug Ramsey. He goes, I don't believe it. You guys have superpowers? Wait till I tell Kitty. And then she stops here, and here comes the White Queen. And I like how they're the screen tone here to show her psychic ability here. And he's looking at let's see here. So this is Magma. He's kind of seeing how she, like, the way he wishes her to be. And so she's now seeing herself. She's seeing her mother here and hugs her. So she's getting them, and now she's telling Doug to go back into his room here. And here they're still fighting. The devil is still fighting with oh my gosh, there's so many characters. I apologize, people, with Danny. But here you can see him grabbing her, and is this Eliana? Maybe. Nope, it is Danny. It is Danny, and look at this. So kind of corrupting her. And so Eliana's like, no. And so she takes out her soul sword and hits is it Pharaoh? No, that's from X Force. I already forgot her name. That's all right. And so she uses her soul sword and decapitates the devil here, and she's gonna go after Tarot, but she's conjuring something, and Ileana goes, she's a sorceress. So it looks like they are evenly matched. So, and with the hoof, the horse hits her, and here comes the White Queen and says, "Stop! Come to me, children. Playtime is over." And so she thinks here, I've put an image in Danielle's mind, but the Rasputin girl is closed to me. And so she's seeing her granddad, but Ileana goes, it's a trick. And so she creates one of these discs here, and they go through. And so Tara says, they jumped into that light and disappeared, ma'am. Mamselle Frost. What happened? Where'd they go? And she says, heaven only knows, Sherry. And so her thoughts here as we are about done here. So Elena Rasputin is a teleporter. Her range must be considerable. I can't sense Danny's thoughts anywhere near the school. I'll notify Shaw of their escape. By morning, every Hellfire operative in the world will be looking for them. Enjoy your freedom, brats. It won't last long. Next issue, the final showdown and the getaway. So, all right, the New Mutants, number 16 by Chris Claremont, Sal Buscema, and Tom Mandrake. Hope you liked it, and we've got one more before we return to the X-Men, because these take place while, again, the X-Men are in Battle World. Also, don't forget about the playlist for the Secret Wars, that it's covering what the X-Men are doing out of Earth, and feel free to check out any of the other playlists. Like and subscribe. I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.